it's Gabe, and I'm back for part 4 of our CAGED series on 7th chords. Today is E shapes. All right, I'm just going to jump right into it. So we got an E, open E, just like before. I'm going to take you through the steps, okay? So first step, number 1, swap your fingers. So we had fingers 1, 2, and 3. I'm now going to go fingers 2, 3, and 4. My first finger's free to fake the 0. Step 2, fake the 0, okay? Then I'm going to move forward 1 step. I still have an E shape, but I'm now touching an F, E, F. So this chord is now F major, okay? If I took away the middle finger, just like when you take that note off the 3rd string, it makes an E minor. Same idea, fake the 0, move it forward, you'd have like an F minor, okay? If you've done bar chords, if you've been playing for a while, you know this, okay? But I'm gonna get into stuff that you may or may not know about the 7th chords and how to modify this. Make it a little more playable for jazz sort of context and things. Okay, so if we now can move it, now I'm gonna get into the 7s. So just like I talked about in the other lessons, and if you haven't watched them, you should go check them out. I'm just gonna recap octave in a power chord where the pinky is the octave. That's important to find the 7. Octave, again, is number 8 in the scale. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So the 7th note is now the note I need for a major 7th chord, okay? So, got major. I need that note, the octave, the pinky's note, 1 half step back. So I gotta transform this a little bit. I'm gonna call it the finger numbers, okay? So first finger, still gonna be the bar. The pinky's gonna go to the 5th string. So it's fret 1, I'm gonna do an F for right now. So F, fret 1, pinky, fret 3. Your middle finger is gonna go fret 2 on string 4. Your ring finger is fret 2 on string 3. And again, the bar is going the rest of the way. So I know this is a little awkward. I don't really play this chord unless it's like the open E. Okay? This is where I'm going to get into something that you may or may not know, which is I'm going to drop one of the notes out of the chord to make it more movable and sort of, again, more playable. I can add bass lines the way I'm going to show it to you. So what I want to do is get rid of redundant notes. In jazz, the 5th of the chord is often thought of as redundant because the bass player is going to play it. So if I already have a 5 in the chord, I don't really need a 2nd one. Sometimes it sounds a little too thick if you keep both of the 5s in this E shape, right? When you play a bar chord, like, it sounds very big and full. That's why we use them. But if I take out the power chord, which is at the bottom of the chord, it sort of lightens it up, okay? So I'm just gonna take that 1 note out. I'm gonna refinger it a little bit. So if I strum it, versus, I hope you can hear the difference, right? It's much thicker when you keep that power chord as part of the chord. So when I'm playing in jazz or blues, I want to leave more space for everybody. Let the bass player take the 5th. Let the keys handle it maybe some of the time. And we leave a little bit more room for everyone's instruments to kind of fill in the spaces. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take our bar chord. I'm going to take the 5th string completely out of the mix. So we now need to kind of transform again. My first finger is going to be the lowest note for the root, okay? I'm going to move forward a little bit, so because the stretches and things. I'm going to do it in the key of C. So I'm going to go to fret 8. Fret 8, E-shaped, okay? Again, our theory is my pinky's note is the one that I want to move a half step back to get the major 7, but I need to get rid of this string. So now the fingering is going to be this. First finger, 8th fret, string 6. Ring finger, fret 9, string 4. I'm skipping string 5. Again, that's where the power chord note was. I'm going to get rid of it. Pinky goes right underneath. So this is fret 9, string 3. Middle finger, fret 8 on string 2. So I've got, again, I'm muting 5, and I'm muting 1 by touching over here. Right, so if I dig in, I hit everything. You're still only hearing the 4 notes that I'm trying to let you hear. So now I can move my first finger around if I wanted to. Now I can start to add a simple bass line, like roots, sevenths, thirds are now available to me because the first finger's free. When I do that bar, you can maybe get the 7, but you got to be careful about like leaving the open notes because you left the bar off. Okay, so I'm going to use this major 7. I'm going to play like a 1 to a 4. So I'm in the key of C. It's C major 7 to F major 7. Okay, again, like what's going on or something. So like. Okay, get the idea, I hope. All right, I'm going to move on to the next chord type, which is dominant 7. Now that we've got this, right, here's our major 7. Let me say the numbers, and then you'll sort of get where we're going to move everything. So I got 1, 7, 3, 5. I'm going to say it again. 1, 7, 3, 5. You should memorize this. It's an important thing to know, okay? So if I want to move the 7, if I say 1, 7, and I need to lower the 7. I now know where the 7 is, so I'm going to flatten the 7. So this note, where the ring finger is, 1, 7, 3, 5, 7, it's going to go a half step back. So I got to transform my fingers to do this. So my middle finger is going to go fret 8. That's where the half step's going to happen, okay? The pinky and the first finger stayed from the major 7. But to get that half a step, the third finger is going to go away, middle finger goes the half step back. So now the ring finger takes over for that note on the second string where we already had the other note. Okay, so let me call it the frets again. So it's 8, skipping 5, muted, 8, 9, 8. Again, sounds a little more open. For blues, do the full thing. Sometimes you want that thicker, heavier sound, right? But if it's like a different context, you might want that lighter, more spacey sort of version of the chord, okay? I might also, if I'm going to do a bass line thing and I want the 5 of the chord, I might keep the bar. So now I'm like hybrid picking and choosing the roots and the fifths. If I come back to this other form, then I can do the third. So I might use both of these, okay? So maybe a little advanced if you start to combine them. But for E shapes, right, this is the one that looks more like an E, but this is the one that we sort of use more often in a jazz situation. Okay, I'm gonna move on, all right? So I'm gonna go to minor 7. So where the pinky is the 3. Let me say the numbers again. 1, 7, 3, 5. For dominant, it's 1, flat 7, 3, and then 5. So for something minor, again, other videos, something minor means flatten the 3. That's the pinky's note. I'm not just going to do this because this is awkward. And this is another chord that if you've never played it before, it might feel uncomfortable at the beginning, but just work on it and you'll get it. Okay. So middle finger is going to be the root now. And then the ring finger is going to bar 4 through 1. And you can even do 4 through 2. If you mute the first string, that's totally fine. Again, we're just doing like the 4 notes, the 1, 7, 3, 5. But you can always grab the 1, because again, the 2 strings are tuned to the same thing. So let me say the numbers. 1, flat 7, flat 3, minor. And then the 5 is right there. Okay? If you played any funk or jam bands kind of stuff, like this is the chord. You'll know this. Not doing the other chord yet because it's an A shape. Okay. All right. So if I move between those 3 chord types, again, here's our 2, 5, 1. So I covered the minor 7, just did, dominant 7, and the major 7. So if we combine together, I'm going to do a 2, 5, 1 in C. So D minor 7, fret 10. Going to go G7. I'm going to drop down, fret 3. And then I'm going to come up to fret 8 for the C major. Okay, so 2, 5, 1. All right. If I now lower the 5 of the minor 7, I get minor 7, flat 5. Okay, so let me come back. So if I had C minor 7, so fret 8. 1, flat 7, flat 3, 5, natural 5. If I lower the 5, and this is kind of, let me get close. You can't hold it like that. You won't be able to lift the ring finger and get out of the way. So I'm going to do separate fingers now. to do this, I'm gonna have you start. So middle finger again is the bass. We don't see, sorry. Fret 8, fret 8, fret 8. Finger 2, finger 3, finger 4. Fret 8, fret 8, fret 8. Fret 7 in the back. Again, this might feel uncomfortable for you the first time. This is minor 7 flat 5, also known as half diminished. Okay, I'm muting string 1, I'm muting string 5. Again, I'm slightly touching right here and slightly touching right here. So if I want to dig in, I can really strum everything because those two notes that I'm not trying to get are muted. So 2 5 1 in minor is minor 7 flat 5 is the 2 chord, dominant 7 is the 5, but minor 7 is now the 1. So I'm gonna do it in the key of C. So that means D minor 7, flat 5, G7, dominant 7, C minor 7 for the 1. Okay, I'll put that together. All right, if I combine a couple together, a couple more together, I'm gonna do a 1 6 2 5. So instead of just a 2 5 1, let's add one more chord into the mix. 1 6. I'm gonna do it in major first. So in C major, that's C major is the 1. A minor is the 6. In our 7th chords, that means minor 7. So we're gonna go C major 7, A minor 7, fret 5, D minor 7, fret 10, G7, fret 3. Okay, let me call it out one more time. So C major 7, A minor 7, D minor 7, G7. Okay, I'll put that together. Okay, last chord type is the fully diminished. So we take our half diminished and we lower the 7, which is already flat, an additional step. It is a double flat 7. So I'm going to take our half diminished, our minor 7, flat 5, but now the flat 7 is on string 4. So this is again where we got to transform the fingering a little bit. I'm going to keep the middle finger on the bass. My ring finger is going to go where the pinky is, so that drops to string 3. The first finger is going to bar strings 2, 3, and 4, 1 fret behind. So say the frets 2, so it's 8, skip, muted, 7, 8, and then 7 again. So we have this. So that's fully diminished. Again, this is the chord that I might use for like pivoting to other places, for connecting two keys together, right? Again, discussion for another day. For right now, I'm gonna just, again, show you like a 2 5 1, and I'll use that chord as my pivot. Okay, so here's in C major, 2 5 1, C major 7. So if I go to 2, D minor 7, G7, so what I did C major 7. I'm going to do C sharp full, fully diminished. It's a half step below the D. Leads me to the D. Fully diminished chords create tension. They need to be resolved. I resolved it a half step away. Again, I will talk about more another time, but just try it. Okay. So I got C major 7, just to recap. So the 1 chord, half step higher, fully diminished. Tension, pulling you. 2 chord, D minor 7, G7, and then I'm gonna come back. Okay, so if I put that together. All right, I think that's it for E shapes. Okay, we got one more, we're gonna do Ds. So, stick around. We're just going to finish it, all right? If you, again, want to get ahead of me, start to combine them together. C's, A's, G's, E's, You're touching the D string. That's where we're going next. Just going to show that. All right. I will see you next time.